John Mark Anthony. Just go do it already. Okay, now I'm just going to answer a question verbally and expand on it a little bit. And it's just with reference to do with from B.WildBeauty, who is a fantastic YouTuber. I'll link her description of her YouTube channel below, and she's a fantastic subscriber. And basically, she's a new mummy, and her question is, have you done longer fasts? I do 48 hours and 32 hours. Sometimes it's like a £5 difference by the time I'm done. Then I eat regularly, but usually my stomach is shrunk. I'm going to cut out sweets next week and just eat veggies and no pasta with 2 time block fasts to get back on the wave. And I think what she meant by getting back on the wave is because I think she was going through a little plateau like I'd gone through myself. And she's lost, I think, anywhere between 40 to 50, maybe even more than that, pounds in a period of probably about 5 to 7 weeks, give or take. And she's a new mum. She's literally just given birth, and I think she started her intermittent fasting probably about a week after, or maybe straight after when she got back home. So I'd responded back because she said that she's going to cut out basically her sweets and pasta, and she's going to be basically and also she's just going to eat veggies. So I don't know whether it meant she's going to take out meat and everything else as well. So what I wanted to try and explain is what I've experienced before in the past. When I went from being an everyday eater to becoming a focused on a vegan diet, and what happened to me is I was smashed. I'm so glad I made a decision, but I wasn't prepared for what came. Both me and my wife were completely dry. I mean, I've always had energy, and when I went to take, not always, but basically since I started basically exercising and everything else, because I've been doing this now for 18 months, this journey, this new lifestyle of basically just living to live and lose weight and then get to a weight that I'm just happy with. And I've never gone that long, never gone this long before in my whole life and been so focused. So before that, my main stable diet was basically I was having turkey. I was having things like basically cauliflower, broccoli, but I'd have a lot of turkey, sometimes potatoes, sometimes pasta, but mainly it would be basically turkey and couscous, and then obviously things like gravy, etc, etc. And I'll be having loads. I mean, I consumed turkey by the mass. I'd have turkey, the next meat I'd have would be chicken, the next meat I'd have after that would be like mincemeat, and then I'd have lamb and stuff sometimes and everything else. But I'd have meat. Every single meal I'd have would be with meat all the time, and I'd have a lot of meat. And my whole diet was focused around meat. And then when I became a vegan, I just stopped it. I stopped it dead. Stopped it. I stopped cheese. I stopped milk. I stopped dairy products. I stopped everything clean. Just since January the 10th, 2016, had nothing, anything in any shape or form, and the way I used to, the amount of eggs I used to have as well. So I stopped all of it. What happened is so imagine I'm going to gym, I've got energy and everything else, but I'm not losing weight how I want to lose weight, and I'm making a drastic decision both for, I won't lie, it was mainly for the health side of things, and the cruelty side of things was a second place. Okay, and it's become more and more prevalent with regards to doing my understanding and my conviction now. But at the point of time it was, I need to lose weight, I want to lose weight, I'm prepared, I will do whatever it takes. I've got a do or die mentality. I've had enough is enough. But I'm on about meat city, and I knew loads of negative things to do with meat before I'd done this, and I've resisted it over a long period of time. For years, there's a lot of things I know with regards to do with meat, etc, etc. Had to stop just things. My daughter was just screaming, singing in the shower, and the shower's right next to my flipping office room. So it's just, you might not be able to hear, but it was just putting me off so much. So the experience that I had from taking that out of my body was massive. I mean, really, really extreme. To the point that I felt so lethargic and tired like I'd never felt before. I could literally not stay awake longer than 3 to 4 hours in a day, then I'd have to have a power nap and everything else. And I was messed up for about a good 3 or 4 weeks. It actually freaked me out. I worked out what it was. I mean, I kind of gathered what it was, but I was smashed to the point of like, you know, this is off key, but I was prepared to do whatever it took to do it at the end of the day. But it was very kind of confusing and troubling at the time when it happened, because it's a case that you can make a decision, but you have to make sure that your life is prepared to take to deal with it. So what I'm saying to B.Wild is that might not happen to you, B.WildBeauty. It might not happen to you, but because you are a brand new mummy, sometimes you can take so much stuff out and rip it out of your diet that what happens is you're kazonked. I was prepared to do whatever it took at the end of the day. At the time, luckily I had my car, it was working and everything else, because if it was the situation as it is now, I don't know what would have happened. It really hit my wife hard as well, but it hit me massively. Like, she thought, what the heck was wrong with me at that stage? And I'd already started losing weight. I wasn't at the extent I had now, but I was probably halfway through. I think I'd lost about 20 or 30 pounds. I mean, I'm also nearer to the 90 pound now. So I've lost a lot more now. But I'd lost a lot, and I had good energy levels. Not fantastic, nowhere to where they are now, but I had good energy levels, and it just went. I'm on about, imagine how I am now. I'm talking, this is how I usually am. Just gone, missing out of action. I'm on the chair, watching TV, asleep, working in front of my computer, just fighting sleep and then having to go to sleep. I just couldn't even function. So that happened, and I felt like that for about 3 to 4 weeks. Then my energy levels started building up bit by bit. And when I started off being a vegan, I started off with raw as well. I was raw for about the first week, and I thought, no, there's no way I can deal with this. I don't even think I even lasted a week. I think it was about 3 or 4 days. And I just thought, no, this is not going to work for me this way around, because where we are as well, England, UK, proper freezing cold. It's summertime. It's easy. I ate a lot more raw stuff, a lot more fruit, a lot more kind of like raw veggies and everything else with these in the summer. But in the winter, it's just off key. Plus, I prefer it where I've got a balance. So I've just got a mixed balance now. But then my energy started coming in. And then it surpassed anything I ever experienced to do with when I was on my meat diet from before, my meat and dairy diet from before. It surpassed that by, I'm on about miles and miles. And I used to have loads of smoothies before, and it used to give me like a kind of a spike of energy and everything else. And I used to be able to stay up late and work late and everything else. But when it used to come to waking up and having to do stuff, I'd wake up, but I'd be a bit grumpy, a bit groggy. Now I'm just like this, bang, bang, bang. I'm just on fire, and I can just go I'm on about for time, just doing stuff. And I'm older. I can hit the gym really heavy. The recovery time within the gym is awesome. It's just like I don't have a recovery problem in any shape or form. I'm like a Duracell battery, just going on. I mean, it's just crazy how I am now compared to how I used to train before. The recovery, the power, the strength, the energy, everything. And it's like, seriously, people kind of like thinking, what's wrong with this guy? Because they saw me training one way, now I'm training another way. People who are lean, cut, who have been training there before I was there, who have proper fit and everything else, I'm able to just train with them and above and beyond nearly all of them. To tell the truth, I have to say all of them, and I'm not trying to like big myself up, and I'm still got weight to lose and everything else. It's because of the energy I'm given, and then the way I do my exercise and the exercise kind of format, which I'll be going into probably in the next week or 2 weeks and breaking that down. So that's the reality to do with that. Now, I went into quite a big reply to do with B.WildBeauty, and because she's made a lot of big, massive choices in regards to do with lifestyle choices to better the actual betterment of her health and her weight and everything else. And just like many of us, sometimes we hit so many angles, and what happens is your body can begin to put walls up quicker than you can actually make things happen. Many of us know that the amount of weight that we can lose, we can put that weight on within a moment of time. We've just going to eat something that's wrong at the end of the day. You could do something that takes you a week and a half to 2 weeks to get off, and you can put that weight back on within 1 moment. So you've got to apply wisdom, balance, and it's got to be long term. Because if you're throwing yourself, at some point there's going to be a wall that's going to come up in front of you. It could be anything, could be everything. So what you need to do is balance everything. And I know you might hate hearing this kind of word called balance, but basically you need to know what's working and what's not working. And when you make a difference, I'm doing this with the hand, because if you start shoving loads of different things at different point at times, like you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and you're trying to hit something, if it works, you don't know which part of this element has worked. But also you're kind of preparing your body to start just calibrating and bringing up resistance for all of them all at one point at a time. So you're better off doing it staggered, because this is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle that you're going to live. You're going to live it out. So what you want to do is get that data and be able to do it. So, because what I've done in the past is I've hit things from so many angles before, and when it does work, you never know what one it was. Sometimes it's just one thing that made it work. And because you've hit from so many different angles, all you have to end up doing all the time then is have to keep doing all the angles, and you never know which one it was that, what was the actual silver bullet that worked that time. So you want to be able to critique what you're doing all the time, because what will happen is once you get to a particular weight and you've got, say, 10 pounds to lose or 20 pounds left to lose, rather than say 60, 70 or 100, your body you'll have a different fight. And because you haven't been learning to teach yourself to critique yourself and to gain the right data, you could end up hitting a really massive wall for a very, very long time. And I'm saying that because that's what happened to me. Previous to this breakthrough, I always got to 117 kilograms. That's the lowest I could get to. I could never get past it, because I always used to just throw everything and be smashing myself. I'd be dieting a particular way, eating a particular way, eating a particular time, doing this exercise. I was doing anything and everything to make anything work, but never evaluating and collating the data. So what would happen is I'd get so far and then I couldn't get any further, and then I'd just sabotage myself. And I don't want it to happen to you, and I don't want it to happen to anyone. So if you've done a lot of things already and you're doing a lot of things, start trying to do those things for a little bit longer, and then critique those bits a little bit, like you are doing anyway. But say, like, if you're just about to start running or you're just about to do exercising, allow that time to come into the play for about 2 to 3 weeks, because you're actually exercising. So see what your body does. Okay? And I say that because what happened with my wife, she has major problems to do with trying to lose weight. So she gets active and takes action. But then what happens is there's so much walls of resistance that she never knows whether it's because of this, because of that, because her whole body's just different from mine. Obviously hormonally, and obviously because she's a woman. And I've been trying to do things that I would do, and it hasn't been working with her. So we've had to take a step back, and we've had to basically do the macros. I've had to give her basically a kind of a meal plan that she's worked with loosely. Because she's just her, I can't make her do stuff, so she's been doing what she's doing. And then it's in regards to doing a particular exercise plan. So we've got all these things down packed, and because she's been doing it over a period of time, I've been able to find and diagnose what the blockage is. Whether she wants to deal with it, she's preparing to deal with it, because it's something to do with something she eats that's putting up a massive wall. But we only discovered, I always thought it was that, but she would resist it and would be willing to try this and that, but anything but don't tell me to take this out. And it's come to, you have to take that out. That's the thing slowing you down. And we only was able to get to that kind of discovery, even though I knew it was that, but she was able to get that understanding and then begin to kind of work with it and appreciate it and accept it, and then begin to think, okay, all right, I've been training, I've been eating a particular way for a long period of time, and this is becoming a wall. So now she's prepared to make the right decision. But that's there because of the data. So the long and the short of it is, whatever you do, work out what you're doing. Don't just have a mental idea. I want you to record. I want you to understand what your body does when you take sweets out of your regime. If you're someone that's into sweets and into chocolates, or into having, what do you call it? Because I'm not even into it, to tell the truth. Having desserts and so forth, and stuff like that after dinner or in between, those kind of things. Or if you're into snacking, take bits out and start finding out how much your body responds to that. And then obviously start working with less processed food and more whole foods. foods that haven't been tampered with, and begin to replace things in a sense, and just work on the basis like that. And that's a very long, drawn out kind of response towards a question, but I thought I'd elaborate on it in many different angles. There's so many different things we can do, but at the same time, if we do too many different things and not calculate, and they're not calculated moves, and they're unregulated, and we're just doing whatever, then you're going to end up with a situation where you will get to a place where you need a hack, and because you haven't, how could I put it, got the information out, you've got no hacks to pull out, like a single hack here or a single hack there. You just learnt to do a whole load of things. It's like going into a fight and you're pulling someone's hair, scratching them, pulling their clothes and everything else, and trying to get their legs and everything else, and you haven't got no tactic. It's just that there's no game plan. It's just all over the place. That's the worst way how to try and enter into a lifestyle of the healthy. And you see what I'm saying? If it's going to be a lifestyle, it's good to start learning what your body reacts to, what it likes, what it doesn't like. Because what works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work for me. But the only way you discover that, and you start getting away from following this person or that person or this notion or this kind of thought or that thought, and you start moving towards facts that are kind of factual for you, and you know yourself and you know your body, is by basically doing the things that I'm suggesting here. Because all I'm asking you to do is basically work on the premise of basically moving away from, I'm going to try this because I'm fed up with this, I'm going to try that. If you know what happened to me in my plateau, the thing that made me twitch is because I wasn't going to gym. As soon as I went back to gym, the plateau was still carried on. I just carried on doing what I needed to do with that, and then I was able to look at what I was eating and thought, okay, let me take out the monkey nuts, let me take out this little bit here, a little bit there, and the things that I know that sometimes work for my body in one way, but can other times really cause me issues. So that's a very long video, I know, but I thought I'd cover it. You know what I'm like, I'm very exhaustive. That's not even the right word, but I like to exhaust things and just cover as much as I can. But thank you for listening. Keep on keeping on. Please like, please subscribe, please comment. If you've got any questions, send it to me. You know, I'm only too happy to answer it, or sometimes write and everything else. And I answered it this way back to basically B.WildBeauties, because I just thought it'll be a good answer that I can just put out to anyone and everyone at the end of the day. So good luck. Keep on keeping on with your weight loss journey, everyone, and keep watching. And I look forward to getting to know you all. And if you haven't subscribed yet, why? Subscribe. Until next time, keep on keeping on.